Hello everyone, week 1 completed. This week I read The Picture of Dorian Gray, and now I'm going to review it for your viewing pleasure. Picture of Dorian Gray is basically about a young man who has a portrait done of him, and he makes this crazy wish saying, oh, I want the portrait to grow old and sort of have my marred soul, and I will stay young and beautiful forever, blah blah blah. And basically, essentially, it just happens. There's a lot of things I liked about this novel and a lot of things I really didn't like. It was very short and I felt like I never really got into it. It just kind of kept going and I just kept reading it. But I never really felt like I was connected to the story at any point. It's not bad, I just didn't feel like the characterization of Dorian Gray was very good. I didn't feel sympathy for him, or I didn't feel angry at him. I just didn't really feel anything for him. And I think he's one of those characters where you're supposed to feel mad at him for all his actions, but all his actions are never really explained. Like, he's mentioned as sort of doing terrible things and being of ill repute and destroying lives, but they never really tell you exactly what he's supposedly done. And the novel goes from when the painting's basically just been painted to the end, to 18 years later, and Dorian's become this sort of very corrupt young man who's still got a youthful face. Sort of being 20 years old to being supposedly about 38, but he doesn't look any different. The problem is the sort of time jump, it doesn't really explain, and the fact that he hasn't moved, like his home is the same, and so all his friends are the same, and yet no one's like super suspicious about him. It's like, oh, he just still looks so young, great. Like 5-10 years later, yeah, that's okay. 18 years later, if you still look 20, there's something going on there. And no one asks it, and that's really weird. I don't know, a lot of things you've kind of got to work out for yourself. There's one character in particular named Alan Campbell, I think his name is, and at one point Dorian blackmails him to do something for him. Basically Dorian kills someone and he blackmails Alan, who's like a chemist or a pharmacist or knows about science and stuff, and to help him get rid of the body and get rid of it, blah blah blah. And he blackmails him, but he whispers something in his ear, or shows him a letter or something, and whispers something in his ear or something, I can't quite remember. Yeah, he shows him a letter and he like blackmails him, and it's never really explained what he blackmailed him with, because afterwards you find out of next chapter, I think afterwards, that Alan Campbell kills himself. So a lot of the actions are just not explained, and I don't sometimes always like novels. I sometimes just like things to be like it's sort of idiot proof, I guess. I like things to be sort of explained, so I sort of just be like, oh right, okay, I understand. And the twist, there's a couple of like twists which were quite obvious. There was one part where someone gets shot and you know who exactly it's going to be within about 5 seconds, and then there's another one you kind of know, you know who Dorian's going to kill within about, so as soon as they enter the room you're like, oh, he's going to kill him, yeah, you know what's going to happen. It's just kind of like, it's kind of obvious, but I just sort of go, oh, on the train when I was reading it, and everyone's kind of looked at me, which was quite funny. So it was good in some ways. There was a couple of moments where I was like, oh, this is really good, but most of the time I was kind of like, it's okay, it's good. It was a good start, I think, to this project because it was quite short, and it was quite an easier read, I think, probably because it was short, and I kind of knew, oh, okay, just do this, and then move on to a slightly longer novel. So it was good. I would recommend you read it. It's, I don't know, it's not my favourite book. I've read a lot of better books, but you know, Oscar Wilde, it's a good shot. Well done, mate. If you want to join in this project, next week's novel will be Emma by Jane Austen. It is out of copyright, so you can download it free to your Kindle or e-reader. The week after novel, week 3, will be The Book of Nonsense by Edward Lear, which is also out of copyright and therefore free. I do like things when they're free. That's all for today. I will see you next week. Goodbye.